Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So, Style or Nothing has had a little bit of a revamp and we are now creating a series of videos which is going to be produced every Tuesday and Thursday. The Tuesday's videos are going to be topics based around fashion, so we're going to have all the latest fashion trends, different topics, different styles, and on a Thursday we're going to be bringing you a series called Let's Talk Positive Vibes Only, and my lovely boyfriend is going to be sitting in on those videos as well, and we're going to be discussing all kinds of topics, with the first one being about interracial relationships. What we're going to talk about is what our experiences are of interracial relationships, how we felt going into into an interracial relationship, and sort of everything around that. So, well, my thoughts about going into an interracial relationship were very basic. I have dated people from different backgrounds throughout my dating history, and
have I?
Yeah.
So we both kind of came
from that perspective.
That standpoint,
and I've never felt like it was a problem at all. In previous relationships that I've had, there have been a couple of comments made by my partner about what they thought or what I thought about the relationship itself being from an ethnic background. For example, I dated a white guy. He used to ask me certain questions about race, which it was nothing
derogatory,
but it was nothing derogatory, nothing negative, but he made it known that we were from different races.
In what kind of way?
Well, just
an example.
For example, he would say something and then go, "Oh, because you're black," or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. You could say that he was joking and it wasn't meant in a malicious way, but that's the only kind of...
But how did you feel about it?
I mean, I took it with a pinch of salt. I mean, it did... I said to him a couple of times, like, come on, like, shut up. But tell him straight. But other than that, it wasn't something that I found overly negative, just because I didn't have an issue being in that situation. You know, I've dated a black guy before. I've dated...
You didn't find those comments to the detriment of the relationship?
I didn't find the comments to the detriment of the relationship.
Like you were able to go on.
We were able to, yeah. But other than that, I've never really had an issue being in an interracial relationship.
We all belong to the same race. That's what our DNA tells us.
Yeah.
It's only through our own kind of constructive divisions. And that's not to say that there's no significance in cultural difference, but in terms of our actual DNA, what makes us human, we belong all to the same race.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
That's science.
Yeah.
Science by Tim. That's not a good look.
So my point is basically that I don't have an issue being in an interracial relationship. From my perspective, we're all the same. Race shouldn't define who we are. Race shouldn't define who we're connected to, who we end up falling in love with, who we end up spending our lives with. It shouldn't matter what race you come from, because we're all equal. And that's how I've always perceived relationships. Doesn't matter who you're dating, doesn't matter where they come from, what they look like. What matters is the connection you have between that person and yourself.
For me, I come from that same standpoint. You know, my kind of dating history is that of dating people from many different backgrounds, but it wasn't from any kind of perspective of identifying like a certain background, and there's no significance to the decision in terms of race or background. It's more of what you just highlighted. It's more from a perspective of you meet someone, you connect with them, and that's all it is really. And I think I come from that background also just because of my family background. I am mixed. My dad is Turkish Cypriot, my mum is American, Irish, Polish. So I come from all over. I'm a concoction of
a bit of everything.
Loads of different things. So I'd make for a very interesting recipe.
Very tasty recipe.
Thank you, baby. I hope so. So I think just kind of because of my own background, I'm not fearful of. I have no fear in terms of exploring, going into a relationship with someone who's of a different background. I don't fear that.
Yeah.
That was my standpoint, kind of, when we first met, when we first started dating and everything, and we're gonna be making another video about our first date, but also about just advice on first date.
Yeah, which you can expect soon.
But it was just more through a lens of pure connection and understanding that we had similar values, and just feeling positive about us, about the potential relationship. So.
Yeah, your race didn't really come into it at all. I didn't think when we first met that wasn't at the forefront of my mind, what background you came from. It was just about the connection that we had. And
although you were curious, like, where does that beard come from? No, just messing about.
Yeah, it wasn't at the forefront of my mind. It never is at the forefront of my mind. You know, to me that isn't important.
So basically, we share the same ideas in terms of where we kind of positioned ourselves coming into the relationship. Maybe we should talk a little bit about what our experiences have been with like outside sources as we kind of enter, you know, a full year of being together. Have we even had any experiences?
I mean,
what are your thoughts?
I don't think we've had any specific experiences, but we've had, like, most recently when we were in Australia, we noticed, because where we were staying, so basically obviously Tim's parents live in a place called Newcastle, which is a couple of hours from Sydney. It's a very suburban town. Beach town. It's quite quiet.
Yeah, smaller population, not a big city.
It's not a big city. It's very lovely. It's
like
really,
some of the
really...
most beautiful beaches.
We're still in Newcastle right now. It's a lovely place.
But not very multicultural.
It's not multicultural. And I mean, I noticed that you kind of stand out. Probably not in a malicious way, but people do make you feel like you are different in the sense that
I think there's an element of curiosity.
So they stare at you. When you're walking down the street, they stare at you. And I think as well, because obviously we're both, obviously I'm black, you're mixed. As a couple, it's like, whoa, you know, I think. So we did feel that a little bit.
Yeah, that's not to just put it on Newcastle.
No.
Well, because I'd say, like, our experiences even in London, and London is one of the most diverse cities in the world. Yeah. I don't think we've had any, like...
Nothing specific.
Nothing explicit kind of racist or xenophobic behaviour, but I think even in London, we felt that to some degree.
Yeah.
I know I have, where you get two kinds of people, I think. You either get the people who are like looking at you and they're happy and they're proper, you know, they're just happy, they see a happy looking couple, and whether there's any significance in terms of it being interracial or not, they're happy for you. But then you also, from what I kind of have perceived, there's also the other person who looks in anger, looks in judgment for one reason or another. And I have to say, I'd say that's both from, like, that isn't just a Caucasian thing. What would you say?
Oh no, it definitely comes from
like everyone.
From everyone.
Yeah.
So
if they have a problem with it,
it could be a black person, it could be a white person, it could be an Asian person, it could be it's anyone. But you know, I guess some people just aren't used to experiencing that kind of blend, are they? Like, some people are very old school in their ways. They believe that, or they've been brought up in a world or in an environment where they only interact within their race.
Well, I know,
minority.
And I think to empathise, not that I would ever like justify racist or xenophobic behaviour. Obviously, both you and I have both experienced racist behaviours, but just to kind of be like sympathetic to some extent, maybe some of these people have had horrible experiences with certain groups of people.
Well, there's a reason,
That's shaped.
There's a reason why people behave
that's
the way
not
they
to
do.
That's not to
and that's not justifying it.
Of course not. But I think there are probably people who feel very threatened when they see interracial couples, for example, because threatened through some kind of sense of losing a sense of identity or something like that. I think people often talk about that, don't they?
Yeah.
About how, I think anyway, that's one of the kind of arguments against interracial relationships. People talk about how you're losing the identity of the culture.
Yeah, but then I think that's a bit of that's questionable, because I think when you're blending two cultures, you're essentially you're bringing two cultures together, and you're finding out.
And also, what does that mean for mixed people already? Like, you know, for example, myself. Like I have a combination of Turkish Cypriot culture, American British culture. I've been able to kind of grow up, appreciating both cultures, both set of cultures that I come from.
By connecting with someone who's different, you're learning more about the world and you're uniting cultures together, and you're allowing your partner to be able to embrace and experience your culture and vice versa, and I think that's a really good thing.
Exactly.
And then your children as well are like you, for example, you come from two separate cultures and you can embrace both of them and you can say that I'm part of this culture and I'm part of this culture, and you should be proud of that.
It's not that we're solving racism or because I think people get annoyed with that, like they think that people who are interracial relationships have some kind of higher think they have some sort of higher degree of like wisdom or something, more authority on these matters. But I'd say it's not really about that. Like you and I have never thought that. It's just more a case of I am proud of our relationship.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
Part of the reason why I'm proud of that is because it does show that two people who are of different ethnic backgrounds can come together and have a healthy, positive relationship, and I'm very proud of that. Like, it doesn't mean that all of the problems in the world in terms of racism and all of these complex historical issues are solved. And I don't think you're in an interracial relationship anyone's suggesting that.
No.
But I think it's definitely a sign of a mindset.
Definitely. A positive one, yeah.
And also a reflection on our families, because they've also embraced.
Yeah, they've also accepted
our relationship. Both sides, haven't they?
Yeah.
And we continue to embrace our cultures, both sets of families, and we both have respect for that, don't we?
Yeah.
We respect each other's cultural backgrounds and practices. Other than kind of like the slight curiosity and staring, there hasn't really been anything that's been bad, has there?
No, there hasn't been anything bad at all. There hasn't been any kind of negativity at all. Most of it is all positive.
What are your concluding
thoughts on interracial relationships? I am all for interracial relationships. I feel like no one should be defined by their cultural background, by the colour of their skin. I think as long as you are happy, as long as you're secure, I don't think that it's even an issue. For me, it's not even a thing. Being in an interracial relationship is not even a thing. Where it might be for some people, it certainly isn't for me. And I'm more than proud and more than happy to be in a relationship with you. So, yeah.
Me too, baby. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, I do. But I think, my kind of thought of what we spoke about to begin with, that really we belong one race, the human race. And that's not to sound cheesy or anything, but it's true.
It's true.
Like, that's what our DNA is. And then obviously over the years, over history, we've created divisions and everything and ways of categorizing each other. Yeah, of course that creates a certain significance in terms of cultural history, and I'll always respect that of you, and you'll always respect that of me, and that's kind of my overall thoughts on it.
There you go. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching our first Let's Talk.
What
are your thoughts? Yes. Please do let us know.
Do you
agree
with
this?
interracial relations?
Do you agree with interracial? Yeah.
Do you not? If not, like why? Like what are the reasons? Because it's not about like I don't want us to come across like this is the absolute right or wrong. No one else's opinion
there's
matters.
no right or wrong. It's just a discussion.
It's good to have a conversation.
Yeah.
So be honest with your thoughts.
Yeah, and let us know what you think. Yeah. And please do like and, as we said, comment. Please do share as well. If you subscribe. If you like this video, please do subscribe. We're being all cheesy now. Please do subscribe. As I said before, this is the first in a new series of videos that we're going to be doing every Thursday called Let's Talk. Positive vibes only. So look out for the next one, which will be coming next week. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again in another video soon. Thank you.